Buruh tani mahasiswa rakyat miskin kota, bersatu padu rebut demokrasi, gegap gempit.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Kita dalam satu suara demi tugas suci yang mulia.
Honorable the Dean of Faculty Economic and Business, Win Syarifullah Jakarta, Profesor Dr. Amilin, SEAK, MSI, CAKEI, EKP, CRMP. Honorable the Vice Dean 3 of Faculty Economic and Business, Win Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta, Profesor Dr. Muhammad Nurianto Al-Arif, SEMSI.
Honorable Ms. Chut Erika Ananda Fatima, SAMBA, as Head Department of Syariah Banking Program, Win Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta.
Honorable Mr. Felix Tan as today's speaker from the University of New South Wales, UNSW Sydney.
Honorable all the lecturer of Faculty Economic and Business, Win Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta.
And honorable all participants of Studium General, How Financial Technology Supports Small Medium Enterprises. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin, wabihi nasta'in, wala umur dunia waddin, wassalatu wassalam ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'du.
All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the universe, who has given us his blessing to gather on this great occasion. And we also send our greetings to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has brought us from the darkness into the light.
Hello, I am Faza.
And I am Rafli.
It is a precious change for us to be your master of ceremony on this very special occasion. I would like to say welcome to Studium General that held by Syariah Banking Program, Win Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta.
Okay, the topic of our event in this afternoon is how financial technology support small medium enterprises. Before we start agenda today, let us open this agenda by reciting Basmalah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
And there is a little information about the webinar that we are going to run today. We are recording the webinar to share with you afterwards, so don't worry if your internet drops out during the webinar.
Next, I will tell you about our today's agenda. The first agenda is Kalam Ilahi. The second agenda is welcoming speech from Vice Dean 3 of Faculty Economic and Business, Win Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta, Profesor Dr. Muhammad Nurianto Al-Arif, SMSI. And the third one is presentation by Mr. Felix Tan that will be guided by Ms. Endah Meria. Continue to the fourth agenda is Q&A session. The next one is grants of certificate of appreciation. And the last one is doa and photo session as closing.
Let us move to our agenda. The first agenda is Kalam Ilahi by Fahri Rifki Ardani. Kepada Fahri Rifki Ardani disilakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul law kana al-bahru midadan li kalimati rabbi lanafidal bahru qabla an fada kalimah lanafidal bahru qabla an Fada kalimatu Rabbi. Fada kalimatu Rabbi walau ji'na bimithlihi madada. Kul innama ana basyarum mithlukum yuha ilayya annama ilahukum ilayya annama ilahukum ilahu wahid. Faman kana yarju liqa bihi falyamal amalan salihan. Faman kana yarju liqa bihi falyamal amalan salihan wala yushrik bi'ibadati rabbihi ahada. فما كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا. فما كان يرجو لقاء به فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا. Sadaqallahul aliyyul azim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sadaqallahul azim. Let us move to our agenda. It is welcoming speeches. The first welcoming speech will be delivered by Vice Dean 3 of Faculty Economic and Business, UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta, Professor Dr. Muhammad Nuryanto Al-Arif, SAMSI, and also open the studium general in this afternoon today. Kepada Prof. Arif, disilakan untuk
Ya, makasih banyak.
menyampaikan welcoming speech-nya.
Oke, terima kasih banyak. Suara saya apakah terdengar?
Terdengar.
Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzubillahi min syururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lahu wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu nabiyya ba'da. The Honorable Chair and Secretary of Islamic Banking Study Program, Bu Cut Erika dan Bu Yuka Rahmawati, the Honorable Distinguished Speaker, Mr. Associate Professor Felix Tan, that had been willing to be a speaker in this studium general. I'm sorry that the dean and the vice dean of our faculty right now is in Palembang. Salawat alhamdulillah, segala puji dan syukur kita panjatkan kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa taala atas berkat nikmatnya kita diberikan kesempatan untuk berkumpul pada siang hari ini. Izinkan saya untuk menyampaikan sambutan dadakan dalam bahasa Indonesia karena baru tadi malam Bu Yuke mengontak saya dan posisi kami saat ini sedang di Palembang, sehingga ini juga baru bisa masuk ke dalam kamar sehingga bisa untuk memberikan sambutan mewakili Pak Dekan, karena Pak Dekan kebetulan ada kegiatan ketemu dengan salah seorang temannya di Palembang juga. Oke, kegiatan ini adalah kelanjutan dari yang dilakukan oleh Social Trust Fund kemarin yang mengundang Mr. Felix Tan, yang kemudian oleh Bu Cut Erika disambut untuk kemudian mengisi studium general yang mengangkat tema mengenai how financial technology support small and medium enterprises. Oke, UMKM merupakan salah satu tulang punggung perekonomian di Indonesia. Namun seringkali mereka kalah berkembang karena kurangnya dukungan teknologi. Sehingga dengan kehadiran fintech, bagaimana kemudian bisa mengakselerasi perkembangan UMKM di Indonesia, mungkin tidak UMKM ya, ini kan langsung bicara small medium berarti UKM ya. Gimana kemudian UKM itu dengan dukungan fintech yang ada, kemudian bisa berkembang, bisa makin besar, dan mungkin harapannya adalah bisa menjadi perusahaan besar. Mudah-mudahan kegiatan pada siang hari ini bisa memberikan pengetahuan yang cukup baik kepada seluruh mahasiswa, sehingga dapat berguna dan kemudian bisa dapat mengakselerasi perkembangan keilmuan di kedepan harinya. And for Mr. Felix Tan, hopefully we can continue this collaboration with research, especially research in small medium enterprises with UNSW and UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta. Maybe that's all of my speech. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Arif, for those words of wisdom. The next agenda is the presentation by Mr. Felix, guided by Ms. Ed Maria. Mr. Felix Tan is an professor from the University of New South Wales, UNSW, Sydney.
Oke, baik. Selanjutnya juga for this presentation akan dimoderatori oleh Ibu Endah Meiria. Ibu Endah Meiria ini merupakan juga tergabung dalam Asosiasi Dosen Indonesia dan juga Asosiasi Keuangan dan Perbankan Syariah. Now, I will let the moderator take the floor.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang terhormat Bapak Dekan dan para dekanat yang sekarang sedang berada di Palembang, ya. Yang terhormat Ketua Prodi kita Bu Cut Erika dan Sekretaris Prodi kita Ibu Yuka Rahmawati dan teman-teman rekan-rekan mahasiswa di sini, apa kabar semuanya? Baik ya. Udah tahu belum tujuan kita ke sini mau ngapain? Udah tahu belum tujuan kita ke sini mau apa? Kita akan berbicara tentang apa hari ini? Tentang fintech. Ya, tentang fintech, bagaimana fintech atau finansial teknologi ini bisa UKM. Ya, kita boleh sekarang kita ketahui kalau fintech itu sudah menjadi bagian dari kehidupan kita sehari-hari. Punya mobile banking enggak? Punya online shopping, hampir everyday kali ya, pakai online itu tidak terlepas dari juga fintech. Jadi artinya fintech sudah menjadi bagian dari hidup kita, terlebih sebelum pandemi mungkin nggak rame seperti sekarang. And then during the pandemic, kemudian menjadi tulang punggung ya, bisa dikatakan semua serba online. Nah, bagaimana fintech ini bisa mensupport UKM kita, itu yang akan kita bicarakan pada hari ini. Narasumber kita pada hari ini, teman-teman, jauh sekali. Ya, jadi jangan sia-siakan waktu kita hari ini untuk bertanya sebanyak mungkin, boleh dalam bahasa, atau pasti punya Google Translate dong juga. Ya, tapi jangan sia-siakan ilmu yang dimiliki oleh narasumber kita pada hari ini untuk teman-teman di sini menanyakan apapun terkait dengan materi kita. Ya, saya perkenalkan dulu, Dr. Felix Tan is the professor in information system at the where his research is mostly in the fields of digital transformation, application of technology for change, enterprise, firm, and system. Has been published in many academic 10 current application system and the SA economy is in South. What an accomplishment, Dr. Tan. Without further ado, the time is yours.
Great. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here at UIN with you. Thank you very much for coming along and taking time to listen to me talk about technology, digital transformation, fintech, and I hope you find the next 15 minutes of my presentation useful for you. As I'm aware, all of you are, well, you're very young. Your first year undergraduate students who has joined us in the Faculty of Business. That's fantastic. I myself, I'm Associate Professor of Information Systems and Technology Management in the Faculty of Business at UNSW as well. So it's always a delight to see fresh students come in and try to learn about how can they improve their own lives and how can they improve, get ideas about their own businesses moving forward. So I'd just like to start off by quickly acknowledging, obviously, my moderator of a discussant and also your lecturers who are invited here on quite short notice, I must say, to deliver this lecture. But I'm absolutely delighted to have the opportunity. I also obviously want to share some information about UNSW. Some of you may not be familiar with the university and where it is in the first place. So UNSW stands for University of New South Wales. So we are based in Sydney, Australia. That's where the main campus is. We are in the state of New South Wales. That's why it's called University of New South Wales. So it's one of the biggest states in Australia. And UNSW has a number of campuses. The largest campus is in Sydney. And we have the Australia's largest business school. So our business school has with roughly around 500 staff. most of them are like myself, are researchers. So as researchers, what we do is we go out and we try to understand how and how society is using technologies, is using business concepts and business acumen in order to improve their efficiency and performance of business, and also improving their lives. So today I'm going to talk about the work that we have in Asia, in Pacific Asia, on particularly around how financial technology as a kind of technology that transforms financial systems so that to enable businesses and society, how that really evolved in the last few years. And Indonesia is the epicenter of that transformation in this and a few other countries in this space. But Indonesia, given its large population, has tremendous opportunity and growth that we have witnessed in this specific topic at the moment. So when I first came, when me and my team came to Indonesia to study fintech, and we engaged with the Fintech Association of Indonesia, there was really only about 50, 60 fintech companies. Right now, over 2,000 fintech companies, right? When I first did my case study with Gojek, they were still very small. There were only a few hundred people. No, not even a few hundred. But we visited their offices, their old offices, and we understand what they were trying to do in terms of their applications and APIs that they were building. They didn't even have Go Live at that time. So Go Live was what they were planning to do. And then after that, Go Live came very soon after. When there was price wars between, you probably didn't know, but fares at that time was $1, from the airport to the city. I mean, how can you get a fare for $1 US? It's impossible, right? So there was a price war at that time. So there was a lot of investment into these tech startups, and all of them were creating digital wallets. And that was when, the whole thing around fintech really blew, because fintech is part of the underlying digital infrastructure that support transactions between businesses. Okay, so part of that B2B model at scale, you have to sort of leverage on fintech right now. Banks are also making the transition. Banks are trying to learn from fintechs, from how they're enabling transactions for trade and finance, right? So banks also have to change. Microfinancing institutions, of which Indonesia has over 160,000, right? They are also changing. How can we leverage on SMEs? For the people joining online, my sincere apologies. Let me try again. But that's always the case with technology. Technology never works when you want it to work. Yes. When you're buying air tickets online, when you're about to pay, when you're buying things on Shopee, on Bukalapak, on Tokopedia, when you want to pay, it stops, and then too late. Always like that. Let's see. Okay, so hopefully we are coming back online. Yep. Okay, so I'll skip this thing. Stop. Right. So what qualifies me to stand? Well, as the moderator mentioned, a lot and understand how do they provide products and services through technology to their customers. Okay, so one of my first case study is a company called web pages for 3,000 SMEs. Okay, once they have the suppliers on one side, they can then say, they can go out to the market and say, I'm going to attract more people to come on the platform. So that's how the B2B model started. Then after that, they have Taobao, which is the B2C model. And that's when they started copying the likes of Amazon, eBay, right? And have that B2C model. And then you start to see more happening in this region, your Rakuten, your Shopee, your Lazada, your RedMart, your Ninjas, your Bukalapak, your Tokopedia, all of that started coming in. So a lot of my work in the early stage was about digital transformation through e-commerce marketplaces, because e-commerce marketplaces created a lot of work for SMEs. Okay, and this is the fundamental base for when we're talking about financial technology. Because once they're able to jump on board and sell goods, the next thing they need to do is how do we create the accounting underpiping to support my collaboration with another business, for example. So therefore, there's a lot of fintechs in the early stage focusing on the peer-to-peer and focusing a lot on the business-to-business, right? I'm sorry for people online, there is a little bit of delay. And for people here, okay, then I started to do a lot of work around the sharing economy. So what is unique in sharing economy? And the perfect examples are like the Gojek, like the Grabs, right? So in the past, most of the, let's say if you want to use another person's car, you probably have to go through like a private rental company. But now your Gojek open up your Grab and basically book a car which belongs to someone else, right? So for you, for the short period of time from, let's say, the airport to the city, you are the owner of that car because you pay for the service of that car that previously you don't have, right? So therefore, this is what we call temporary ownership of the asset, okay? Then I started doing a lot of work with K-pop companies, K-drama companies. So I went to Korea a lot, I went to Japan a lot. I studied how they create, how they use platforms and OTTs to create digital content. And what we also realize, and I'll come to why this is related to fintech later, is that there's a lot of new content that's being created that are very short tail, that are created just for you guys, okay? And as I said many times, you guys are very large consumers of everything Korean, yes? I agree. Yeah. So let me try to continue again. So again, these are some of the things that we do. We publish a lot of stuff online and journals, like the moderator said. Often I would go to the United Nations to give talks about the state of women empowerment or the state of digital transformation in Asia and fintech festivals and things like that. So I'll skip the collaborating scientists. Yeah, okay, it's coming up very soon. So again, apologies to the people online. So digital transformation, what it is and why fintech and how is it related to fintech, right? So the question here is how financial technology support SMEs is actually through digital transformation. Because what we're trying to do with fintech is we're trying to change the way in which SMEs bank with one another and how SMEs work with customers like yourself. Okay? And it's a process. The process that digital transformation. So it is a process of creating value between business entities and organizations that use these entities for business. Okay, so it's coming up. So digital transformation often determines a change in business processes, in thinking, in business models, in culture and organization. Okay. However, especially given we talk about pandemic, what has pandemic done? Pandemic has just accelerated the rate and the growth of digital transformation. That means businesses, SMEs especially, is going to be heavily disrupted, especially SMEs that have face-to-face business. If they have face-to-face business, if they don't repivot, if they don't leverage on technology, more than likely they're going to collapse. And we have seen that. Okay, so the companies that are doing well now are the companies that have invested in digital and financial technology in the last 2 to 3 years. So they are the ones that are still sort of surviving. Okay. And so, because when you embark on digital transformation, you really need to change your way of doing business, change your value proposition, because it is that competitive today. It is extremely competitive today. So you got to really change and be able to adapt to that change. But what has changed? These are the few things that have changed. One is the growth of unstructured data. The fact that I'm doing this in a hybrid mode, that means in person and also online, suggests that bandwidth requirements has increased tremendously. Also, the fact that the amount of video data has also increased tremendously. Okay, so if you see on the top left-hand corner, you see the red chart. So that's what we call unstructured data. Structured data are what you can see in words and in numbers. Okay, can be written down. But video and voice, all of these are unstructured data. Okay, so you and I believe more in video than we believe in words these days. Because why? Because all of us are looking at our mobile phones and screens most of the time, even when I'm talking, right? Which is fine, no problem. My students do that all the time as well, right? How if you have more than one? That means you have one mobile phone and one tablet, or one mobile phone and one laptop. How many of you have more than one? Put up your hand. Okay, how many of you don't have a smartphone? No way, right? No way, right? So your smartphone is contributing and is a conduit of consumption of unstructured data. Okay, right now. And this has accelerated during the pandemic, right? You're upgrading your phones, you're buying more SIM cards, and SIM card in this country is super cheap, right? Compared to Australia and Singapore. Okay. Now you have movements that are online. So in the past, you have to join a club. Like say, I joined the Islamic club, or I joined a lot of virtual group, in your WeChat group, in your Zalo group, you would have heaps of groups, correct? Yeah, so all of that are virtual communities. So all of that has changed as well. Okay, so all of you are becoming extremely savvy. Cashless, right? A lot now. Most of you don't carry money anymore, right? Most of you have GrabPay or Gojek Pay or what else? GoPhone. Yeah, you name it, you have it, right? So it has changed very quickly as well. Oh, I'm reconnecting again. Sorry for the people that are online. So does that make sense so far? Am I going too fast? Okay. Okay, let me try to just go on without the slides. So the three things I want to talk after this, right? The first thing is the growth of electronic marketplaces. This has really pushed the SMEs businesses a lot in the last few years. But most of these marketplaces, they are platforms. So what they do is that they, like I said, with Alibaba's case, they collect a lot of people from the supply side. And when you have a lot of people on the supply side, you attract the demand side. And once you have a critical mass of demand side, then you have the supply side. So then there is a network effect. Okay, so when you go on Bukalapak or Shopee to buy one thing, you actually don't buy one thing. If you are a lady and if you are a mother, you don't buy one thing. You buy many, many things. Okay, you buy one thing and then the Shopee tells you, you need to buy the other one. Okay, I also buy the other one. And they tell you, you need to buy the other thing. Okay, I also buy the other thing. You don't buy one hair clip. You buy hair clip, eyeliner, this, that, because my girlfriend also do the same. Buy a lot, right? So guys are the same, right? We don't just buy the shoe. We buy the shoe with the socks, with the pants, with the shirt, with the this, right? So you don't just go there and buy one thing. So this is